All right, welcome to the Tuesday show. This episode is called, actually, about video games, mostly. And that's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be talking about games. How about, and mostly fighting games, too.
Mostly.
You know?
Mostly fighting games.
Mostly fighting games.
Mostly.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so my name is Ultra David. This is James Chen.
How's everybody going?
And we actually have topics to talk about as far as video games go. Guilty Gear, the new version of XX is out on Japan, PSN at least.
Yes, and which you can get if you follow the instructions on creating a Japanese account and are willing to buy Japanese yen PSN cards.
Is that what you got to do?
Yeah, that's what I did. You had to buy like 2,000 points and it's only 1,500, but whatever. So if there's anything else worth 500 Japanese points that's only out in Japan, I'm in there.
And also, of course, this past weekend was the first Loke test for Guilty Gear Xrd.
Yes, that is correct.
So we'll be talking about both of those. Divekick had a beta that I was in that I'll talk about. Yatagarasu got fully funded.
Yes. Not only did it get fully funded, dude, so it made, let's just even say that it made X amount, right? We'll talk about how much it made later. It made half of that money in the last 3 days, the last 2 days. It's ridiculous how much it made in the last couple of days. Yeah,
it really caught on fire. But let's start off talking about Guilty Gear. So have you been playing much of the new one?
I've been messing with it a lot in training mode, I'm obviously mostly messing with Johnny, but I've tried biking. Biking is really interesting now.
What happened? I don't even know.
Because remember, she was the alpha counter character,
sure.
right?
I remember that.
So all of her stuff was alpha counters. So before, you couldn't really use any of her alpha counter moves unless you were blocking.
Okay.
But she had this move where she ran forward that just absorbed as many hits as possible. It could be hit low and you could sweep it, but if she ran forward, she would just armor through a bunch of moves and then finish running.
Okay.
Well, now if you do that move, you can cancel into any of your alpha counters, which is really interesting.
When somebody is hitting you, or just whenever?
And whenever.
Oh, yeah?
So now you can basically access them. So in other words, I can actually do //, run into alpha counter, and get a combo off of that. And not only that, but they sped up her /alpha counter, and it's so fast now, so it's I don't know, what's weird is they took away her corner combos, the really cool loops that she had after the jumping dust. So I don't know what her new combos are. So I'm trying to figure out. It feels like I'm learning a brand new character. It's really
that's pretty
interesting.
cool.
So yeah. I mean, they really did some stuff to some of these characters that just feels pretty different. Obviously, like I said, I haven't messed with a lot of them. I looked at some of them. I went and played with some of them. I even messed with Justice a little bit. Justice.
What do you think about... So I really want to know about Justice and Cliff.
So I don't know much about Cliff.
Okay.
But Justice has this move where you hit down, and attack, and she has 4 different buttons. I believe it's a she, right?
Yeah, that's what
everyone
I've heard.
says. Justice is a she.
Yeah.
But if you hit down, and then any one of the 4 buttons, she throws this little slow fireball that travels across the screen as long as you hold the button. And if you let go of the button, then it explodes in place and creates an explosion, right? Thing is, you can have all 4 of them on the screen at the same time.
Can you move around while you're doing that?
Yeah, so you activate one and start running around, activate another one, start running around, activate another one. So she becomes this crazy, space controlling character with no jumps. I mean, with no dashes, no air dashes and stuff like that.
She can jump, though.
Oh, yeah, she can jump. Yeah, I just meant no, super jump forward, air dash, no.
Okay.
She can back dash. She can't forward dash on the ground, so... I don't know, it's just really interesting, so I'm curious to see how that
sounds like a sick character to me.
I'm curious to see how this character is going to play. I mean, it's funny because you can kind of tell, it's not as... Justice is not as fleshed out as a lot of the other characters because it's just I don't know, some animations still look wonky to me.
What, really?
I mean, I'm sure it's always been like that, but, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite as cool looking as some of the other ones, but I'm really curious to see how that character is gonna be in actual. I heard she's not very good.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah.
Have you messed with Potemkin at all?
Yes, I have.
Have you now?
Yeah, I messed with Potemkin a little bit. One of the funny things is he had that move where you do fireball, quarter circle forward plus punch, or quarter circle back plus punch.
Yeah,
a little hop forward and punch thing. They always gave him a false Roman cancel point like right at the end of it. So you couldn't really get it to whiff and then SPD them. They added a false Roman cancel point now to the very top of the arc. So you can actually do it FRC at the top and come down and grab people. So you could fake it, but there is that, like, as soon as you see that blue explosion, just like hold up and get the heck out of there, unless he does the air pop buster, and then he'll grab you anyway.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
But dude, there was a combo that I saw. So I think Flash Metroid linked this, and all he said was, "I love Guilty Gear."
Okay.
And it was just a video where like Chip did a wake up uppercut, Potemkin blocked it, and he hit him with the low hard slash, and then proceeded to drain like 85% of his life, like on this ridiculous combo, which just looked really cool. So
does that matchup suck?
I mean, it might have in the last version. Yeah. I don't know how it is now.
Okay,
so,
sure. Yeah.
I mean, Chip just didn't beat anybody in the last version.
Oh, was
apparently.
he bad?
He was one of the worst, I think.
Oh, for real?
So, yeah, so apparently he's like top 5 now
or
something.
Dang,
so,
sick.
yeah, so... But, you know, we don't know yet. We're going to have to keep playing this to figure this out. So there's a lot more to go. Yeah, because he just has no health at all. So he just takes damage like nothing. So
yeah, that's why I've always wondered about the Chip versus Potemkin matchup, like who wins, because it's like a matchup of options versus damage, basically.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, to be honest, Potemkin was just too good of a grappler in the last version. I just don't think that there's anything that Chip could really do. So.
Well, I thought it was really cool to watch when, the run back last week, because the run back was the new version of Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
And they had that on for a long time. It was like the featured game.
Yeah, they played it pretty much until it finished.
Yeah,
which is cool. Hopefully they do it again. So
I thought that was awesome. I mean, when I went with you to the run back last week, I fully expected that there would be a lot of Guilty on stream, and I don't really know the game, so it's not like I can commentate it. I just figured that I would go there and like play some Third Strike or some ST or something, whatever. See some friends. But I actually ended up sitting by you guys listening to Guilty Gear like almost the whole time.
Nice. Yeah, Paul and Steve did a really good job because they had it already, so they had played it.
Yeah, Sanchez was in there commentating a little bit. Yeah. And those guys all did well in the tournament too, along with their Josh, who ended up winning it. They've all been
my favorite
in their little hole to play the game.
Paul was like, I noticed that the top 4 were all non-SoCal people.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, the top 4 people also have the game that nobody else does.
Yeah, for sure.
But
no, it was really cool to see, and I haven't played Guilty Gear, and I've said that it was because it just seems like it's unnecessarily complex, and that bothers me.
Right.
But after watching a lot of it at the run back, I'd actually really like to pick it up and see how it is. I'm waiting for it to come out in the US because I just don't really want to go through the rigmarole. Yeah. I mean, this is like another major reason why I didn't play the game back in the day, because once I left NorCal and went to DC and didn't have an arcade there, I just didn't have the game anymore unless I wanted to like get a Japanese PlayStation and like import it, and I just wasn't going to go through all those hoops. So anyway, whenever the game comes, I'll look into it, because Potemkin is rad, and I'd like to check out Justice. I think that seems like a really interesting design.
I hope it comes out soon, because right now it's just like it's only out, dude. And we keep getting these false reports that it's coming out. We're like, oh, it's out. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's out. Oh, it's not.
A couple of times, we've seen people tweet out like, "Hey guys, it's out, and then like remove the tweet, delete the tweet 5 minutes later.
Even like I remember, I think SRK posted like in their headlines like, "It's out for Japan PSN," but like my brain just omitted the word Japan for there, and I was like, "Oh, it's out!" And then I looked at it, I was like, "Oh wait." And that was pretty much the last straw where I was like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm just creating the Japanese account and all stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
But
yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming out. I'll try both of those characters again, definitely. And I want to try it again because and I feel like I'm probably not alone in this. I kind of want to re-look at the game for when Xrd comes out. I'm thinking that I might actually pick up that game more seriously, because from what it sounds like, they've been removing some of the things that were like added levels of difficulty, just like executional difficulty, not necessarily strategic. And that sounds great to me personally. So I definitely want to check that out, but I don't want to go into the game just completely without any grounding, you know. So I'd like to check it out.
You see, that's why I actually think it's so cool, is because now there's a lot of people who might be willing to play +R now, knowing that there's a new version coming out, and I think that's really cool. And you know, the things that you said that they took out, the 3 main things right now are the instant guard, you know, the false Roman cancel, forced Roman cancels, and slashback. Like I said, all 3 of those things, which are like the super intense timing, high level, you know, skill kind of thing. And so it's really interesting to me. They're taking out some of the difficult stuff, but you know, in this day and age, like, you gotta kind of make these games a little bit more friendly to get into. And we'll talk a lot about this, I'm sure, later on when we get into the international this last weekend. So because there's definitely a correlation between this topic now and that topic there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I just think it'll be fantastic if everyone can learn to play this game. I mean, it was the first of the ArcSys air dashing kind of games and such. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of, you know, old school fan base for it. So we have a lot of, you know, a good mix between the old and the new to be able to play this game. So there's a lot of people who are going to be able to help others learn the game. Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of exciting. So.
It still makes me laugh to hear Guilty Gear referred to as old school.
Right?
It still seems like the kids' game to me. And I don't mean that as a pejorative. I mean, like, it was the game that younger people played.
I see.
It wasn't like ST was over there, and there was like CVS maybe, and like even Marvel was kind of old at the time already. But Guilty Gear was new, and so I don't know. I feel like it was at the time was like this younger kid's game, but now it's for old people, I guess. But anyway, so speaking of Xrd, have you seen much footage for that?
I've only watched a little bit of footage. I haven't watched a lot of it. From what I've seen, the game just looks beautiful. I mean, it's from the reports, everyone was saying that it feels exactly the same. You know what I mean? Which is pretty intense, because a lot of the times when games make this 2D to 3D translation, it doesn't, you know, it always feels different. Mm-hmm. There's always something weird about it, about the way it feels. And apparently, I mean, the craziest thing to me is even just watching it, like, you could almost tell, I mean, the game is in 3D, right? It's on the Unreal Engine, I believe. Yeah. And, like, even then, they still left in the animation frames. Right. You know what I mean? It's still, like, not super smooth. There's not a lot of the extra interpolation in between frames. And we were just looking at that video of Potemkin doing the Heavenly Potemkin Buster. And even when it goes, like, now that it's in 3D, they can do crazy animations, right? Even the crazy animation was purposely, like, animated, like, anime drawing frames, you know, and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's really cool.
To me, it's such a convincing 2D game that when it kind of does this switch, and you can see that it's 3D, it's kind of like it throws me off a little bit. Like, wait, how does that work? How does this 2D game do that? Like, it's so... I mean, I guess that means that they're doing a really good job of it looking like 2D. The
very first time in the trailer when they did that thing where they spun around them, like, I just thought that was a cool effect they did just for that trailer. I didn't even believe it was part of the engine until towards the end. I was like, wait, is this in 3D? Even with the Unreal Engine logo there and everything, I didn't believe it. So,
well, I looked at a few vids, and, you know, obviously my expertise is very minimal, but when I first saw Potemkin, it was in a screenshot where he looked like he was giant, like he was SVC Hugo kind of size. But then the other vids that I saw made it seem like that was maybe more of just like a screen zoom in, because the other videos that I saw, he looks a lot more like normal Potemkin size, like big, but not, you know, some humongous crazy person.
Yeah, and see, one of the advantages, obviously, of going to this 3D style now is how much you want to bet they're going to sell original Potemkin costume, right? This is something you can't do with sprites, because sprites are going to take up as much space no matter what, right?
That's a good point.
It's a lot of space.
You think they're going for microtransactions, huh?
I think it's a smart trend, because now you can just do all sorts of costumes and do crazy things for a lot of these characters now. I mean, Persona, which was in 2D, you know, did the simple thing and put glasses on everybody, like little glasses. But this game, now they're going to be able to go crazy. And I know in Japan they're big fans of that, because like Virtua Fighter and Tekken, they go wild with that. So I'm curious to see what extent they might go to that, but it would be kind of cool to see some Guilty Gear characters in alternate outfits. You know, it'd be kind of interesting.
I hadn't thought about that, but I could totally see them doing that. Yeah.
And even just like I forgot who it was. Was it someone linked a video of like Virtua Fighter of like these guys doing like special win animations and stuff like that, and he was joking like, oh, I think it was Hans actually who tweeted this, was like, you know, make DLC win poses for Street Fighter characters, please. And I was just like, dude, I talked about that before in the past. I was like, that's something they should totally do. So
that makes sense.
And I think 3D definitely opens the door to a lot of that kind of stuff. So
I hear you. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so lots of Guilty Gear stuff. But let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue talking about video games.
All right.
Okay, welcome back to the Tuesday show on UltraChenTV. Continuing with the theme of actually talking about fighting games, big news for Yatagarasu is that it was fully funded on its Indiegogo campaign, but not just that. It actually went from the $68,000 goal all the way up to $118,243. So an additional $50,000 were raised. Oh, can we mute that?
Yeah, dude. The craziest thing to me was that it was like 2 days to go, and it got funded. So like within 48 hours, it went from not only being funded, then we were like, please, let's get another $5,000 just for GGPO. Then we got the GGPO. Then there was enough. It got funded so that they're going to rebalance the original existing 8 characters.
Yes.
And then at that point, when it got there, I was like, okay, that's it. It's done. Like, there's no reason to push it because it'll never make it to the 117,000 stretch goal.
Right. That's 85,000 was where the refinement comes in, and then 117 is where you get a new character, a third new character.
Now, so apparently it got very close to the end, and someone made a $1,000 donation at the very end just to get it above that. And so,
someone,
dude, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Because I know that for the original 68, you were the one who put it over the edge.
Yeah, I waited for that. Yeah. I did that on purpose, so straight up, just so I could be like, I put it over the edge. Woo!
Oh, mission accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, a lot of people are saying that's definitely a pattern.
Yeah, I was going to say.
With these crowdfunded games, that they do tend to make a lot of their money in the last couple of days. So.
Yeah, you know, it's big news when a game gets fully funded. Mm-hmm. It was all over whatever media resource when this game was funded. And so that gets a lot more eyeballs on it than were potentially there before. Yeah. And people, you know, see what the stretch goals are, or they just want to, you know, give $10 to get the game ultimately, or whatever it is that they want to get. And that kind of snowballs. There's definitely a snowball effect.
Because, I mean, a lot of the times, too, it's like, oh, I don't want to donate because I don't think it's going to make it. Then you see it make it, and you're like, well, I'm going to get something out of it. So, because otherwise, you donate, it doesn't get funded, you just get your money back, and then you're like, whatever, you know. But when you see it's funded, it's that much more, you know, $10. The $10 pack got you a free copy of the game. Right.
Well, you bought a copy of the game for $10.
Because as they said, basically, it's going to retail for $15, so it was like a $5 discount for donating to that.
Gotcha. So, and you get a backer title in the contributor credits, don't you know? So yeah, that was really big. It's something that is really cool for us because it means that we're going to be in a video game.
Yeah, that's right. Because
we're going to be dynamic commentators on this game, which means that if you haven't seen the game yet, there's a thing in there where you can pick from among 3 commentators who are currently in there. When you pick your character, you pick your commentator too. And when your character does something cool in some cases, but in some cases just whenever, the commentator will like pop in on the screen and say some phrase. And it's all in Japanese right now, so I can't really, I don't know what's going on. But it's a really cool idea. And so we're going to be those little heads
for the U.S. version, because one of the reason why this was going to get funded so we could get a U.S. version. So, yeah, I mean
I don't really have any pretensions that I'm going to do better than Kokujin, who is by far the best of the 3 right now, in my opinion. I don't think that I'm going to live up to that, but I will try. You know, definitely. I don't really know what it's going to entail,
right?
And I'm sure that it'll be to a significant degree at their direction. You know, we'll do what they're asking us to do. But hopefully we'll be able to make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more interesting. And It'll be cool to see.
The only thing I'm sad about is that when you're picking the commentator, they like put their face and it's like gigantic and takes up the whole screen. Dude, no. I don't want.
Oh well, that's gonna happen. You're gonna have James Chen face on there.
My face like that on there. That's kind of creepy.
Somebody you'll never meet will be playing a video game and they'll be able to see your head.
They'll be
on that
able
video
to
game.
see me and go nope and switch over to somebody else and pick somebody. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think that's really, really cool. As far as the phrases that we're going to say, people in chat are giving us a lot of ideas. I just don't know how much control over that we're going to have. And if we do, then that's something that I'll have to think a lot about. And I'm not going to take that lightly. I'll try to come up with stuff. If I can, I'll talk with the public about it. I don't know whether that'll be feasible. But
yeah, I'm sure there's going to be very specific triggers that
so.
We'd have to fill in for and stuff like that, so I'm curious.
That's what I think.
But I mean, like I said, they also got Kokojin to do the actual just announcer voice the whole entire time, right?
The major announcer?
The major announcer stuff, too.
Is that him? I mean, it sounds
a lot like him. I wonder if they're actually going to get someone to do that as well, so that would be kind of interesting, so... Cause
I know you want to do it.
I know. There was some stuff I wanted to do, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, so...
and such like that.
Yep, exactly. I had ideas for like
how's everybody going when they pick your face?
No.
How's everybody going?
Oh man.
No, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess we'll see. Yeah, what are you standing up for? I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you kidding me? Is another one?
Yeah, that's
Seriously?
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an unblockable. Anyway, that's something that we'll have to think about. But that'll be for the future.
What an answer, by the way, someone suggested. That's actually Chris Lee who said that. So in that one Marvel video, what an answer. He also said something else that's very famous as well.
Did he?
Yes. But I won't talk about that. Right
oh, really?
So, yeah.
I don't think I know about this.
You don't know about this?
Well, you can tell me later if you don't want to tell me right now. So.
It was a very, very popular moment in fighting game histories. In fact, maybe one of the most popular fighting game moments in the fighting game history that got turned into...
Let's Go Justin?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was him.
Wow, I feel like I should have known that, but I don't think I did.
Yep, he was the one who screamed that out loud to set up that video to make it even that much more sad.
Good job,
for Justin.
Chris. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, man.
Anyway... So, Yatagarasu, keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what the exact schedule is going to be on that thing, but I'm sure that we'll keep everybody informed. I'm sure that they will too. But let's talk about Divekick now.
Yeah, another game that didn't need the funding because it got picked up, but is going to make it out on Steam. And in fact, it's all coming out on Steam and PS3 and Vita next week.
Next week?
It? Yep,
that's right. But there are lots of... I don't know about lots, but there are some copies floating around in the wild right now, at least the compatibility mode, and I was in on that. Mm-hmm. Keats mentioned this on the Divekick Esports Hour last night when they were playing the online play between Chicago and their studios down in Orlando. I had the game for maybe a week and a half, something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 weeks, I can't recall exactly, but some period of time. In order to help them test the online play. Because I'm here in Los Angeles, and their studios are in Chicago, and they wanted to see how well that would go, the distance involved, because that is quite a distance. It's a couple thousand miles.
Right.
I actually got to play even against Andres in
Florida.
In Miami, Florida, which is even farther. It's a few thousand miles. So, I got not a ton of games in. There was a schedule for when people would meet to play online. That I just wasn't really able to be there for every day on account of work and whatever else. So I got in, I think, only about 50 matches.
Is it GGPO?
It is GGPO.
Oh, it is GGPO. Nice.
And my experience with it was really positive, I have to say. There were very few times when I noticed significant rollbacks. Even when I did, it's GGPO, it's not that big a deal, just kind of graphically weird. But the online play in general, I thought was really good. I played people in NorCal and Upper Midwest and Midwest and Miami and wherever else, people who I didn't even know who they were, so I don't know where they were from. In addition to that, and it was always fine.
Okay, cool.
It was really good, but dude, I think Sensei is so good. I really do. I've been talking with Keats about this. Keats thinks that he's maybe like 7th or 8th, I think is what he said.
How many characters are there total now?
Oh man, I can't even tell you how many characters there are in other games, let alone that one. But I can find out for you pretty quickly. I think there's like
10,
17 or 18.
People are saying 13.
13?
People are saying so. In other words, Keats thinks he's middle of the road then, huh?
Yeah, I guess there are 13. Yeah, I guess that's what he means. But I think he's so good. Super Jump is such a good special. It doesn't seem it's not as flashy or like obvious as some other moves, but it helps him set up guaranteed kill situations. It helps him reach characters that nobody else can reach. It helps him escape situations in a way that a lot of characters can't escape. And you know, I was talking about this with Ski Sonic too on IRC earlier, and Keats was there. And Ski also thinks that Sensei is like a really, really good character. So
interesting.
You know, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Certainly, Keats has been playing the game way more than we have. Couple order of magnitude.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
I don't know.
So he probably has a pretty good idea. But from what I've seen so far, I think that character is really, really good. I think I did well against everybody I played. You know, Keats obviously is really good. His Kenny is really solid. Right. I would say, other than people who actually made the game. The guy who I thought was the best was this dude named Kevin. I think my record at the time when I started playing him was something like 22-10 or 23-10.
Okay.
And I ended up like 25-25 after that. He
really?
Like slammed me, blew me up.
Nice.
In a way that nobody else did, and it was so cool playing him. So I'm Sensei and he's Kick, and as Sensei, I try to kill people with handstands because that puts me, well, depending on matchup, but against Kick.
It's a longer dive.
It's a longer dive.
Yeah.
Because that puts me into the kick stance in the beginning of the next round. And that means that in most matchups, I get a free dive kick, like to move myself forward just a little bit.
Right.
And then
just
positioning.
Yeah.
And then I'm in hand stance, which means that I have like this huge effective attack area in front of me. So in case the other person did something stupid, like their own dive kick, I can take advantage of that.
Right.
So I do that against him, and I win the round because he does do this dive kick, and I'm like, well, this is my round, buddy. And so the next one he has party starter with kick, and he does dive kick party starter to launch me up out of my you know, when I do my own dive kick, and he gets the kill. And I was like, that's the first time that anybody has ever actually had a mix-up on me in dive kick. Because other than that, it's really just been people not flailing around necessarily, because I played against some good people, but kind of battling for positioning in this like not necessarily mix-up way.
Right.
But that is a concrete, obvious mix-up. And so my response in the next round, I was starting out in punch stance. I just did dive and kick, and I did this little punch stance, and it hit him on the ground when he landed and did party starter, and I just came at him. So there were like these three, you had
opening gambit.
There was an opening gambit. Yeah. So that was so fun. Even though I got blown up in that set, you know, realizing that the game can be played with that in mind, I thought was awesome. It was like fascinating, and you know, I look forward to more people doing that when the game comes out, because that's the kind of play that the game will end up having. It's not just going to be people diving and kicking or whatever. It's going to have these mix-ups and these opening gambits and stuff like that. That'll be really, really cool to see. His Baz was awesome, and he beat me with kick and redacted and shoals and whatever.
We played one day, right? We were just messing with the game.
Yeah.
Baz was like the character I was expecting like nothing out of, but after I played him, I really liked that character. I just love the Pikachu Thunder. That's like my favorite thing about him. So I don't know.
That was tricky when we were playing. You used that pretty well.
I might be using him some more. He's actually really kind of neat. So we'll see how that goes.
But you're going to stick with
Kung Pao. Yeah, Kung Pao is going to be my main for sure.
That character is ridiculous. Like the teleport special, that mechanic, I think is one of the best specials in the game. Like the way that you can set it up. If you set up a rift, it's for both defense and offense. You can set up a rift and then like move either just behind it or just in front of it. And if somebody tries to get at you, somebody tries to hit you out of the air, you just go right through the rift and punish them with a teleport. But if you're on the other person's starting side, if you're playing on offense, you can leave a rift there and when the next round starts,
Just
it
go
will
right
still
through.
be there, and you can just dive right through
Right.
and punish them on their side. It's a really interesting mechanic.
The thing that I found that was the hardest was just that I do not have enough meter a lot of the times. And so sometimes I would purposely try not to go into kick factor so I can maintain meter. And so I'm actually starting to think the meter gem might actually be best for her.
Yeah, I almost exclusively saw people using the kick gem. Very few people use dive or meter. I think for a character like Baz, obviously meter is the better choice because his kick factor is really, really good. But other than that, it's going to be a matchup specific thing. It might be kind of a tricks specific thing. There are situations where I think that dive or meter is better for Sensei than kick is. Kick is usually better because without it, he moves at like 0 speed. Gotcha. His kick is horrible.
Gotcha.
But if you have dive, then you can go up into the air and meet people like Mr. N more easily when they go up and try to float or something like that.
Right.
Or if you have meter, you have access to super jump more often. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of depth to that game. There is. It's cool.
Yeah. I see someone mentioning this. I've talked to other people about that too. That someone said to me that Dr. Scholes should be able to beat Jafeli like 100% of the time by picking YOLO Gem because it starts the round with his head gigantic. And
oh wow! I didn't think about that.
She's like has all this meter or something like that. So it's just like you should be able to just headshot him. If you headshot him once, then he's
you win.
Screwed, yeah.
Well, maybe not because I don't know. He can actually get the kick out faster than you think. But that's an interesting idea, though.
Yeah,
I like that.
Okay, but I don't think we talked about this on our thing, but on our script. But we should probably talk about people are bringing up that Steam was also King of Fighters just came out on Steam.
Oh, is it out? I thought they just announced it.
It was announced, but I think it's actually out.
It's out right now?
Yeah.
I thought it was coming out like in unknown times. It's not out. It's just announced.
It's not out yet? Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right.
So, okay.
September 13th.
September 13th. Okay, that's
the beta is on the 19th of this month of August, in case you're watching however many months from now, and it comes out on September 13th. So, okay, that's definitely something good to point out.
And I'm hoping that the netcode is good on there.
Obviously, that's the thing that everybody's looking for. Almost universally, people enjoy the game itself.
Pre-order is up now.
Pre-order is happening now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the netcode is horrible, and that really it's horrible. That really limits the game today. Having a good online is so important for a fighting game nowadays, and the ones that don't like KOF, they suffer. More than they otherwise would.
And they do, and everyone's saying on the stream that they made the claim that the netcode is better. That's one of the things that they're trying to fix. So
yeah,
but we'll see how that turns out. So
I'm hoping that it's a lot better.
Because I remember when MK9 first came out, they basically said it was going to be the best netcode ever, and then they tested it, and then there was issues with it and stuff like that. So. It's like test scenarios and then the real wild scenarios are always very, very different. So, yeah.
But that is definitely a good thing to point out. And then, in addition to that, Zatanna is now out for Injustice.
That's right.
She has a Day 1 Infinite.
Yeah, I saw.
Which
Does it only work on tall characters, though, right?
No, apparently not. Because there was a video of it on another Zatanna.
Oh, really?
Unless she randomly counts as a tall character, but it doesn't look like it. So it's just like jump 2, then like float, cancel, float, jump 2, and then like jump 2 again. It's
I saw a video of it. It's like it looked like fly unfly combos or something,
Yeah. So look, I don't think that that's too big of a deal. The only way that I think that'd be a big deal is if you could like cross up with jump 2 with some really tricky setups, like.
Right.
Then it might be annoying, but other than that, like I don't know how often I'm going to get hit by just like raw jump 2, then instant jump 2 again by a Zatanna player. It
well, it looked like the setup was on the way down, they hit jump and then floated and then jumped attack and then they could just get it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I guess either way works. But if I got to feel like if I block your jump 2 originally and you float and cancel it and like try to do something again, I can probably do something in between those.
Oh yeah, but if it hits you the first time,
if you
just get jumped
if I get hit by a raw jump 2, and the guy's looking for it, then that can be, I guess, an issue. But I just don't think that that's going to come up too often, so I'm not too worried about
and
it.
It's probably going to get patched out in like
it's
a
for
day
sure
or two,
going to get patched.
Right?
Yes.
Because they've done that before, the emergency hot fixes that they've thrown out and got rid of stuff like that. Question is, what are they going to do to get rid of it? Because obviously they want her to be able to do jump attack, fly, jump attack, right? Or whatever float it is that she does. So I'm just curious to see what technique they use to get rid of the infinite. So
yeah, we will see. We will see, but definitely that's going to get patched out. As far as the character overall, I feel stupid because I was actually playing Injustice this morning. I was in training mode with Lex, looking for some cool setups. Found some.
Oh, nice. Okay,
dude,
cool,
I got the setup against Catwoman because I'm looking for stuff to beat you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where if I get like anti-airs into close, I cancel it into close mine, and then I can wait for you to do a cat dash. If you do, you're just going to get blown up by mine. But if you don't, you still get put in block stun, and then I get a free high or low mix up.
Gotcha.
It's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I didn't, even though I was playing just this morning, I didn't think for some reason to actually try out Zatanna.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was stupid.
Now, do you know how many of these characters that have come out for Injustice count as Season 1? Because remember there was that Season 1 pass that you could get, and then there's a Season 2 pass, right? Or
I don't think it's in Season 1 anymore, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay, cool.
I think it's past that.
Okay.
But so...
but, I mean, I'm curious to see how she's going to pan out, because, I mean, they're adding a lot of characters, and they're coming out fast, too, so, I wonder how many more characters they're planning to put into the game.
I do not know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, only the first 4 were Season 1, okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, so Martian Manhunter was the first Season 2 character.
Okay. Cool. And technically, if you buy the season passes, it's always cheaper, right? Overall. So I'll probably have to go and do that. So, okay.
Okay. Well, you want to take another break?
Sure, no problem.
All right, we'll do that, and we'll be back with more in just a bit. All right, continuing on with the theme of talking about video games, we're going to talk about DotA. Now, DotA is not a fighting game.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
It's a MOBA.
I still don't know what MOBA exactly stands for.
Yeah, it's hilarious. There's a lot of people don't like that term. It was originally ARTS, Action RTS, but then League tried to make it into MOBA. So I thought saying MOBA because it's funny because it makes people mad.
I like how your motivation for so many things is to make people mad.
Dude, that is definitely true.
False Roman cancel. Roman cancel.
I'm just, who cares?
False Roman cancels.
Anyway, so this multiplayer online battle arena called DotA. If you don't know, there was a giant tournament for it this past weekend called the International 3 to be precise, and it was huge in terms of people who were there and in terms of people who were watching. And basically in terms of all the metrics that you can think of. The prize money was gigantic. The amount of money that they spent on just building the infrastructure there was tremendous. They had all sorts of people doing live commentary.
I think they just announced today that they had 1 million concurrent viewers from all over the world or something like that. So
They
won 1 million, right?
Okay. That's I also saw that.
Okay.
So wow. That is so many people. And it was, they had different...
1 million is a lot.
It is a lot, yeah. You can watch it in any number of different languages, too, which is one of the main things. It makes it more accessible to have it like that. So that was I'm sure, a big part of it. But in addition to that, it's just super popular. And I think it's cool to talk about because we can talk about DotA and kind of contrast it with... Or talk about the international and contrast it with fighting game majors and fighting game scene.
I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people see this and they're like, wow, look at all these viewers, look at all these prize money. Why can't fighting games do that? Let's just do it, And it's like, there's so many hurdles getting in the way. And the kinds of hurdles that you need to get over span in so many different areas too, right? So, I mean, the number one thing that always gets in the way for me is that Capcom just isn't supporting the competitive scene. You know what I mean? Capcom of Japan. They're trying to do what they can right now, but it's just the involvement that they have. Look, DotA League of Legends, these things are the cash cows for these companies, Riot and Valve and such like that, right? Well, I mean, Valve, obviously, they make a lot of money on Steam.
Right. Oh, not right, but Tencent has other stuff going on, too.
Yeah, anyway. Exactly. But they're putting all this money behind, for example, let's just go with Riot, right? So they're putting all this money behind League of Legends so that they can spend this money to try to get this money back, right? Capcom is not spending a lot of extra money on trying to help build the fighting game scene. You know what I mean? Capcom USA is doing what they can. They did the 25th anniversary tournament last year. Now they're doing the Capcom Cup this year. So, they're trying to do what they can, but let's face it, they're pretty limited, and their hands are very much tied, with the relation to Capcom of Japan. And so they just can't get as much traction as a lot of these other things,
Yeah, and on top of that, Warner has not really supported Injustice in the same way that it did at the start with Mortal Kombat 9. Mm-hmm. And if you recall, there was that giant tournament in Las Vegas where they paid out like $25K or something. Yeah. It hasn't happened with Injustice, which is kind of disappointing. And it hasn't happened, Namco hasn't had that with Tekken, and, I guess, Axis hasn't had that.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing about it, honestly, is their player base just isn't strong enough, I feel like, to justify a lot of this, to spend all this much money. Because really, when you think about it, when you think about a game like League of Legends, right? I mean, or DotA, like, when you play it, the majority of the time you're playing it online against other people, right? So you have this kind of, it already has this feel of competitive atmosphere to it, right? Fighting games, a lot of times you're playing locally with people, locally with friends. If you put all these features in the game that help the fighting game players, it really benefits like maybe 5 to 10% of the audience of the game, right? I mean, if you put in all this, like Injustice has all this frame data in there, right? How many people do you think are actually reading that frame data, like percentage-wise of the people playing Injustice? Yeah. Like probably like very little of them, right? So it's just they need to. There has to be a company that just kind of goes all out and does all this stuff and hope that it turns out for the better, But I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that idea.
Yeah, I mean that's why Riot and Valve can do what they do, because they have big player bases, but they also have the capital to continue to make their player bases.
Yeah.
And their player base is tied very closely to this idea of esports. It's a separate idea when it comes to fighting games. There are fighting game tournaments, of course, and the developers and publishers know that, of course. But the tournament scene is not considered, as you just said, anything major.
Right.
It's, in addition to being a small percentage of the people who play, the people who play in tournaments just aren't really marketed that well to the people who don't play in tournaments. And it's not really seen as the same thing, I guess. And when you're playing a fighting game, there's nothing in the game that says, heads up, there's a major this weekend, here is the link right here. All you got to do is click on it. It's right there.
But they do
in both Riot and DotA.
Yeah.
And League and DotA.
Because I remember when I was on the login screen, you can see it's like, oh, this tournament's happening this weekend. Check this out.
So there's a lot more awareness, and if you have the kind of model that they do, that kind of makes sense, because the business model that they have is this free to play thing, where the amount of money they make is very closely tied to how many hours you put in.
Yeah.
It's not directly tied, because you can play forever and not ever buy a skin or something like that. But, a lot of the people who play more, the more invested you are, the more likely you are to spend money, and they know that. And so they want to put an eye on the competitive scene as much as they can. Because if you see, man, that person is so good, how did they get that good? The answer is they spent a ton of time at it. They
just like anything, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And so if... when you see that somebody is way better than you at something, and you have any kind of competition in you at all, you want to put in the time too.
Yeah.
And you are likely to give them more money that way.
Yeah.
So they have all these incentives set up to make something like the International, even though it's very costly, pay off in the end. And we mentioned this before we went to air. The number of people who have DotA accounts has gone from 5 million to 6 million in like a week. 2 weeks.
Just after the International finished airing, because everyone watched it and got super hype about it.
Right.
And I know people who aren't even competitive players who started playing League of Legends and now they want to be good at the game. You know what I mean? It's just there's something about it that drives you to want to improve. And, speaking about that stat of how many players went up just after the international, I mean, that's the stat that we got to pay attention to. Yeah. That's the number that we got to pay attention to. That's the number that you have to throw in the face of guys like Capcom and Namco and Warner Brothers and such. Like, if you can throw this amazing event, I mean, after EVO was done, everybody was like, yo, I want to play Persona. Yo, I want to play this game. I want to play that game. And it's like, okay, you want to play Marvel, so Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, so you run to GameStop, and there's like nothing there. It's like, I can't even get to the game, and then you get it, and like, it's hard to start playing the game. The barrier of entry in a lot of fighting games is a lot harder because, one of the things about MOBAs are, despite the fact that, obviously there's a giant skill level gap between people who are starting and who are who have played this game professionally, but it's just like fighting games. There's just something about it when you see top players play and then you try to play yourself. You're not doing anything that looks cool at all. You know what I mean? It's just there's this very discouragement factor. I've been getting that a lot from a lot of people. I've been talking to some of them through some of the comments on our UltraChen episodes, which we're uploading to YouTube now. So check that out at youtube.com/UltraChenTV. But I've been having conversations with some of them, and they're saying, like, I feel like I'm only playing half the game. Like, I feel like I'm wasting my money because I can't do one-frame links. I can't do all these things I see these top players do, and it is a discouragement factor. So, after EVO, all these people saw all these games and they say, I want to get into it. But there's so many barriers. One, game availability, which they're fixing with Steam. Obviously, King of Fighters is out on Steam, and you mentioned Ultra is going to be out on Steam as well. That was
just mentioned by Hans earlier tonight, that Ultra Street Fighter 4, they're going to try to release it on PC on Steam, on Steam at the same time as on consoles.
Yeah. So, all those kind of situations, like having the game not readily available, just I want to play it and go buy it, right?
Yeah.
And then especially a game like Dota is like, oh, I really want to try Dota. It's free.
That's what I did. I mean, the only reason that I tried Dota was that it was announced as coming out for Linux, and I thought that was cool, and so I went on, and it's buggy, it's just a beta. But I tried it, like, instantly. I was like, I'd like to do this. Download, play. Like, it was just like that. And I was doing it. So there's very little... there's less barrier to entry. I mean, to get good at the game is tough, of course.
It's going to take as much time as anything else,
of course,
right?
So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but...
there is obviously a barrier to entry in terms of skill, but the barrier to entry in terms of just having the game and playing it in the first place is lower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said... I love Guilty Gear to death, right? And I approve of them getting rid of, like, FRCs and slashbacks and stuff like that in the next version because, I've said the same thing about Tekken, too. I think Tekken is a complicated game. These are all complicated games. Yeah, for players like us who've been playing fighting games for 20 years, they might not seem that complicated, but you just get any old normal person to go and play it, and it's just like, it's so foreign. Like, even just getting people to do quarter circle forward motions is weird, right? Whereas in a game like Dota or a game like League of Legends, you're just clicking where you want your character to go. To use a power, you hit a button, and then maybe you have to aim it. Obviously, there's a lot of skill involved in that area, but it's just like you can still do things that, like, if one of your friends was like, I want to learn fighting games, David, and he walks up to you and you, like, ultra him, and he's like, that's cool, I want to do that too. Okay, do down, towards, down, towards, and hit all three punches, and it's just going to take him forever to do that, you know what I mean? So it's like, the barrier to entry is just a lot harder in fighting games, and I think just the community as a whole, we need to do more to try to make it as easy as possible for people to enter, to get into the scene. And that's including just even getting access to the damn games, So.
I totally hear you. But I just don't know if we'll have the developer and publisher backing that League and Dota have, because it's, at least now, it's just not economical for them to do that. I mean, seriously, in thinking about how much money was spent at the International, each of, like, the individual components cost more to run than EVO. So setting up, like, the commentator and player booths by themselves with the TVs in the back of them and on the front of them,
probably more
so much money. The payout was huge. The commentators and the people who were on the panel and the the sidelines reporter. That their salaries or whatever probably cost more. I mean, so just like all these things.
These people have salaries,
right? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I assume that they get paid something significant. It'd be really weird if they didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of money that goes into it. That's just not practical for fighting games, at least
absolutely.
for now. But I don't know when that'll change to be terribly different. As far as the prize pool goes, though, it's I think worth talking about.
Yeah,
how that
I mean,
works.
a lot of people were saying. I was talking to somebody, so basically what happened was, someone was talking about the prize money and all this stuff, and I was like, well, you've got the company to back them, right? And someone responded to me, it was like, company backing them? What are you talking about? It was community backed because they sold an item, or they sold, what they say, compendiums, I think it was. I don't even know what that is necessarily, but I guess every compendium purchased added $2.50 to the pot, and you have millions of people playing this game. They got like 1 million extra or something like that. I don't remember exactly the
1.4, I think is what I heard.
Oh, was it?
I don't know exactly.
But they got a ton of extra money from just this crowdfunding in a way. So they got all this money there. And yeah, it sounds like, okay, well, the community contributed to this, right? But
1.2 million.
Valve as a company was the one that was smart enough to be able to do that. And not only smart enough, but, they have the ability to do that, right? Evo has no affiliation with Capcom. We're not going to be able to release a special costume on there so that the part of the money goes to the prize pot, right? That's just not going to happen, right? And so you've got to come up with some other way. I mean, do we start going down the route where we do the 8th game donation drive, but instead of breast cancer, we donate the money to the pot? I mean, because then everybody's just going to be like, oh, Evo's trying to do a cash grab or whatever like that, and I don't know, but is it something that's worth doing? Do you think that's the next step of where we need to go?
I mean, I'm probably not going to donate to any pot. Just speaking
oh, because you're not entering, right?
No, I just don't care. To be honest, but if I were trying to like get ST back into Evo, and I had to donate money to a pot to do that, maybe I would do that.
Right. But see, then here's the thing.
But I would just donate.
But see, then we start getting into a bunch of logistics, right?
Yeah.
Smash Brothers raised almost $100,000.
Right.
Why wouldn't they get all of that in their pot, right? Why
sure.
wouldn't they be the ones to get that money back?
For sure.
And so then you get into this fight all of a sudden.
Right.
And so
I think that's a legitimate concern. I would hate to try to support Smash and then have to have my money go off to like Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah,
or
the Street Fighter
totally
guy, right? Street Fighter guy's like, thanks, Smash community.
Yeah, totally.
So that's just it's a really tough position, and really it's about volume, it's about numbers, it's about getting people to play these games. You know.
Well, I mean, we got to do what we can do because it's not like we're powerless in this situation. We have to keep running good events. Mm-hmm. We have to, you and I and everybody else, we have to step up our commentary games for sure. Mm-hmm. Something we always have to try to improve. As players, you got to try to not act like dinguses. That's an important thing. It is. I mean, we talked about this, but that's a major part of it. There are lots of things that we can be doing, and I think that for at least some of those things, we are doing them. So it's not like we're just sitting on our hands. Dude, but as far as getting to like the international level, I don't know.
Dude, I was just having conversations with some players right now, and some other TOs, like Rolando. I was talking to him, and he was telling me about stuff that he's planning for VXG next year. There's a lot of cool ideas, and then, people were talking about, well, you should be able to get the venue for free because you have enough people sign up for the event. I talked to John Choi about NCR. He basically said 2 years ago, well, the previous time they were at the Domain Hotel, they put in an estimate. They did not meet the estimate, and then you get fined for that. Yeah. You actually have to pay extra money for not fulfilling how many rooms you said you were going to rent out. So it's not like you can just go, sign me up for 200, so if I get the 200 to get the ballroom for free, and if I don't make it, then whatever. No, you will end up spending more money because you did not fill out those rooms. So I was like, players have to help out with this too. Let's not squeeze 10 people into a room anymore. Let's actually try to start renting out rooms and stuff like that. It's a whole circular kind of symbiotic relationship.
It's kind of hard to ask people to do that.
Yeah, but exactly. And it's not going to happen because a lot of people just don't have the money for that. You know what I mean? But as a result, the players are suffering because they don't have the money to spend the rooms, but because they don't have that money, then the money can't go to the TOs who will help fund the pot. And, so it's not even just a TOs are hoarding money kind of thing. It's just a whole circular situation. There's just not enough money flowing around. You know what I mean? That's just what it comes down to. But, if you can do something like what Valve did with the little donation crowdfunding thing, dude, I mean, what do they always say for stuff like League of Legends? 2% of the people pay for 98% of the players, right? So you have those kind of situations. If you can find that person who's willing to spend that money to add to the pot, we just have to think of an idea on how to get there, on what it is that we need to do. So
I hear you.
Yeah.
On a side note, did you see that video of the Korean commentators commentating?
Yeah, I did.
I hope that the rest of their commentary was more substantive than that, because that was ass.
Well, it was highlights, right?
Yeah.
So, and seriously,
bear. Oh my! I was like, oh, I can't believe this is happening.
As soon as I saw that, the first thing I thought of, who's driving car? Bear is driving car. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Dude, that's the first thing I thought of as soon as I saw that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I've seen that. What's up, Kat? Dude, that sucked. So I hope that the rest of their commentary was good, because when I saw that, I was like, why am I over here trying to form sentences like a schluck? Why am I doing that? So
especially in a game, in MOBA games too, you have way more chances to talk than we do in a fighting game, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
just saying,
yeah,
bear. How can this be?
Dude, that was so bad. I mean, why would you just scream bear? I don't... There are things happening. I don't even know what the characters are in this game, because I just got it. I couldn't even tell you. But they were screaming out about a bear. They weren't saying what was happening. I don't know. I thought it sucked. Man. But their voices were loud. So there's that. Yeah. All right, well...
Speaking of cat. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Someone told me to put the cat on stream, so I just did it. I'm doing my own Smooth McGroove thing here, see? So, see if you know what that is.
Nope.
It's the guy who does all the acapella songs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and in one window, he always pops his cat in there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look, it's not like I'm against people yelling stuff at hype moments. It's just that what they chose to yell was kind of inane. So, that's all. That's all. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we have one more topic to discuss, haiku contest.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right. So just to explain this a little bit, yesterday while James was on stream, apparently the spammers went nuts. And with all these sexy girls,
dude, they're going nuts right now.
I know they are.
I've banned at least 15 people already today.
So basically, we need more mods, and in lieu of any kind of reasonable way of picking people, that might include how often do you come to UltraChenTV? Do you care about banning people? Would you like to help us regulate who's in the chat and who's not? Are you a civil kind of person? Are you nice? No. All that mattered was how good of a haiku you could come up with and tweet it to UltraChenTV. And so...
Dude, you should talk about your lawyerly writing on this tweet here.
Okay, the tweet...
That you sent out.
Yeah, so the tweet that I sent out was... want to help mod our stream? Tweet a fighting game haiku to us. Best entry before the end of the night. Might win. So not only is there a might in there, which means I might not even do it anyway. Deal with that. But win doesn't actually refer to anything in that sentence.
Right.
So
we'll see what happens.
And I kind of I don't even know if any of the people who I picked for my top 5 are like even in the chat at all, or like care about it in the slightest. Because the ones that I picked were, of course, the douchey troll ones.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that's just what I go for. So, all right, let's do our top 5. James, what's your first?
I have to give
not in order.
Not in order.
Any order is fine.
I'm just gonna read whichever one, but I just have to give shout outs to Miss Adelheid Stark.
Okay, so let me just... I had that one too.
Yeah,
so
she tweeted, "Time to play Marvel. Oh, they picked Zero Virgil. This game is awful."
Okay. So, my first one then is from Haganale, who says, "What's a fighting game? It requires chess master's skill, more so than esports."
Yo, nice. Okay, so I picked this one here. I'm pretty sure you probably picked this one too, but this one is from Patrick Smith.
Yeah.
At PRS64S.
You better make the Hong Kongs good.
Oh yeah. So it's basically apply for modship, watch Salty Bet stream instead. Honk, auga.
All right. Well done. Let's see. Ludwig von NS. Do you know True Love? Mr. Wizard and McRib. My one true pairing.
Oh man. I'm gonna read this one from Benjamin Ord. He actually had like a
legit
good
one?
passionate one.
Nice.
Yeah. Said, "Where passions unite, pixelated dreams collide for salt and glory."
That's a good one.
I think it's pretty
That's a
cool.
good one. That's one of the more legit ones.
Yeah.
So my fifth one, since you took 2 of mine, is from Billy Assman. You didn't even let me say the name. It's by Billy Assman Gun, and it's James Chen gets naked. Ultra David cleans his ass. Shinku Hadouken. Dude, whoever runs the Billy Assman Gun account is a genius. Did you have any more?
I had a couple, but I don't know if we can go any more after that, dude.
Just do whatever.
I mean, we had Kevin. He tweeted, "James Chen always says, respect the lore, respect it." David disagrees.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is very true.
So,
and I think Skills That Kills just put this in there because I think he might have remembered in a past episode I really liked the word defenestrate.
Oh, okay.
So, but I put in Marvel, drop one combo and I lose. Defenestrate fight stick. So I was like,
that's a good one. I like the use of obscure words like that.
Yeah, exactly.
To toss out a window.
There you go.
So if you are any of those tweets, you can tweet us now, but include your stream chat name so that I can verify that you are in fact somebody who is on the stream.
Dude, I'm gonna say this right now. Some of you don't know what a haiku really is, or you do not know how to count syllables. I'm just going to say that much. Because there are some of them that I read in here and I was like, how is this a haiku?
Yeah, I think that last one was actually defenestrate fight stick. Yeah, that was 6.
Oh, it's 6. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. That one is off too.
James.
Dude, this one, like, one of them here isn't even like 3 different things.
Dude, actually, if you look at how he wrote it, he wrote defenestrate fight stick. So that's not a word, but if it were a word, he would have gotten the syllables correct.
Or he could have just said defenestrate stick.
Yeah, he could have, but he didn't do that. So he chose to get haiku counting right rather than words right. And I like that dedication. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. Defenestrate. Nice. I like that. So he did it. He got it right.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Defenestrate.
Defenestrate.
I think he actually had an R in there. Yeah, defenestrate.
Yeah, dude, like, okay, anyways.
Yeah, he's a creative guy, apparently. So, anyway, if you are one of those Twitter peoples and you are also in the chat right now, please tweet us, including your Twitter, your Twitch handle, so that we can later make you a mod for just absolutely the worst reason that we could have come up with.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Might.
Yeah, we'll
Might.
see. We'll see.
Might.
We'll see.
So, yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Okay.
All right. So, if you could, at 10 p.m. Pacific time, which is in only 8 minutes, watch the show that sucks at twitch.tv/iplaywinner. I really liked Carter's response. I mean, Hanzo Gonzo's response to the whole Jabali thing.
Yeah. Obviously, there's really no point in talking about that. So.
I don't think we need to talk about that because I don't even consider it a big deal. But I liked his response a lot. So if they talk about that, I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, I mean, once Hanzo put out that response, that was the end of the conversation. There really wasn't anything to talk. And he's a troll on Twitter, obviously, but we both of us support him a lot because he is actually a really bright person, and he has a lot of very, very well-intentioned thoughts and stuff. And I think a lot of people kind of miss the parody satire nature of his Twitter a lot of the times. But, I mean, he even signed this post that he wrote. He actually signed it Carter. Like
he said Carter.
So, I mean, he normally...
On his blog titled Beneath the Hat.
Yeah, which is pretty clever, too, actually. Yeah. But it really, really was really good. So,
and if you don't know what it is that we're talking about, what his response was... I don't really want to go through it. I'd much rather let him do that. So you can, check him out at Hanzo Gonzo on Twitter or watch the show that sucks if they're going to talk about it. And I don't know whether they will, but if they will, it's going to be on the show that sucks in 7 minutes at twitch.tv/iplaywinner.
Yeah. Also, if you guys browse using Google Chrome a lot, there is the incognito mode.
Dude, I'm on Firefox right now, and I press Control-Shift-P, and I can do whatever I want.
Yep. So, just a little piece of advice for people out there. So, okay. Anyways, but definitely tune into the show that sucks. I mean, we've got like 5 minutes left. You want to answer any random questions or anything?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, if you have a random question, please let us know. We have made a pretty silly ending out of this thing anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys want to just ask any questions...
No, I didn't mean that we're letting random people on Twitter be mods. I meant that if we mention your haiku on the stream just now, and you are also in the chat now, that you should let us know on Twitter what your Twitch handle is so that we can mod you. You have to be hilarious in haikus to be our mod.
Dude, someone asked me what my opinion on Bloody Roar was. All I can say about Bloody Roar is when it first showed up in America, the name of the game was titled Beasterizer. So, yeah.
It's hard to believe.
And then, how do you play Johnny and plus R? Try to hit them with a coin. Try to hit them with a coin, so... but basically just try to learn all the different ways to combo into coin. Then once you learn how to combo into coin, learn all of the combos that you do once you land them. And dude, it's so satisfying doing just gigantic damage combos with Johnny. But most important thing is he's one of the most limited characters in movement. So you really got to learn how to move him properly because he's got the fixed dash. He doesn't have a run like everybody else, so he has to dash a specific distance. Learn that every time you dash forward by habit to hold down back and hold the 2 green buttons, you can cancel into a safe block. You can cancel his dash into a safe block earlier than you can block normally. So that's actually very important.
My man from Fighting Game English says, it's okay for a haiku to not be 575 syllables. That's definitely true in some countries. The Japanese take on haikus is different. That's where it comes from. But maybe I should say the American take on haikus is different. It's that 575 kind of scheme. And there are people who say, like, oh, we don't need to do that. That's not how it originally was. Let's just make it a short poem. So there is that school. Man, I totally, for a while, was into, like, reading haikus a lot. And I was really into Japanese poetry for a while. And this was back when I was editor-in-chief of a creative writing magazine in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So,
and,
anyway.
I mean, yeah, it is traditionally 575. Otherwise, Sokka would not have lost that one haiku battle. So, that's an issue there, too. So, but someone asked, just to mention to people to play Vampire Savior. Yes, jump online, play some more Vampire Savior. It is a good game. But, God, there's just so many things. Dude, Biken's good, dude. Dude, she has free alpha counters, and now her slash alpha counter, they sped it up. I mean, before it used to be slow on purpose so that it wasn't, like, a guaranteed alpha counter. Now it's like hits them every time. Granted, if you hit someone on the ground, it staggers them, so you have to false Roman cancel it to get the maximum damage out of it. You can regular Roman cancel if you mess it up, spending more meter or whatnot and such, so, but yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. That's not even a question.
Is Dota 2 casting in my future? Almost certainly not. I can't imagine a scenario in which that's in my future.
Yeah. But I'll say one thing about Dota. When I was watching parts of the International, I think graphically the game looks a lot better than LoL.
I disagree. I think that LoL looks better.
Really?
But as far as the commentary goes, not the Korean ones, the English commentary, I really liked some of them.
I really liked the depth in the Dota field. Like, it actually looked like it had the valleys and the rivers and stuff like that. I think that was the part that appealed to me the most. That was the thing that stood out to me. So, but yeah. Okay. Anyways, okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and just close it out here. And let's make sure you go tune in twitch.tv/iPlayWinner for the show that sucks with Hanzo Gonzo and Harrison SBA. So check that out. And thanks for tuning in. And we're actually getting episodes. In fact, yesterday's episode's already up on YouTube.
Believe it.
So if you've missed yesterday's episode or you came in late, they're up there already. So check that out. YouTube.com/UltraChenTV.
Bye.